Hi, I'm Amy. We're finally back. I'm a psychotherapist with over 40 years of experience, which I kind of realized recently that it's a lot more than I even was saying before. It's really 40 years.
Yeah.
And, so we're here to talk about our dysfunctions. And this is my friend Buck.
Hi, I'm Buck, and I've been in therapy or some sort of psychiatric care for pretty much all my life since I was a little kid. So I wanted to say we're sorry we haven't been here for a while. Amy has been in the hospital and she's dealing with an infection, and I've been dealing with depression and anxiety. So I want to ask Amy before we begin. I thought today we'd talk about Amy's ordeal that she's gone through the
Yes.
last few weeks.
Yes.
Infection.
We could talk about my dysfunction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
first, I want to ask Amy what was a small dysfunctional thing?
a small dysfunction. Let's say. I'm sure I have them. I had one in mind and now I can't remember. Talk about yours and I'll think about it.
Okay. Well, I've had trouble sleeping the last 3 nights. I've had restless leg syndrome.
Oh,
So
hateful.
it feels like you're going to, and I don't know why. Maybe because I've been going back to the gym. I don't know, but it feels like you're gonna you want to like come out of your body. It's just so
Yes.
frustrating. And I get up. I really don't want to get up, and I don't want to watch TV. But that seems to be the only distraction that works. So I've actually been watching reruns of Family Affair.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, remember Family Affair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Buffy
That's
and
why we had
Jody.
a
Yeah.
dog named Buffy and a cat named Jody.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. That's
So
great.
that's my dysfunction. I mean, 2 nights I
Yeah.
didn't go to sleep till 4 in the morning.
I have chronic, we call it creepy leg in my family because almost everybody in my family has it. My mom, my sister, and my brother now, we all have it. But I get it like really, really bad. So I'm on medication for it to keep it from happening. And if I don't get it, if once it starts, it's like there's no stopping it. And eventually it's just fucking painful, pardon my
Yeah.
language, but it hurts because it feels like there's ants crawling around inside your leg. There's no way to hold still. I've had people I've had it like during concerts and stuff. Like I had it during like somebody's, piano concert recital when I was in college, and the person next to me kept like hitting me. Hold still. Why are you? And I was like, you have no
You have no idea.
clue,
Yeah.
no clue how awful this is. And because of MS, I can't get up and walk it off. Because that's really what you have to do.
Yeah.
So it's really wretched. So I have my own version of how horrible that is. So I understand completely.
I'm wondering if it's the antibiotics that I had to take, because I am
Oh, it could
allergic
be.
to Bactrim, which they don't give me, but Bactrim did the same thing, only it was much more extreme. Like you could just never, your legs were never comfortable ever. Walking or anything,
Right, never.
never comfortable. So
It's horrible stuff.
really, really bad. I feel like I just want to jump out of my skin, like I said.
I know.
It's just,
Yeah.
you're so tired. I mean, I'm ready to go to sleep, but it's just that moment when you're about to fall asleep and then your leg just starts.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it's like, oh my
Jerks.
God, please let me go to sleep. Please let me go to sleep. And I feel bad because I've kept Mario up. So,
yeah,
I get up.
It's awful.
I get up. I go back to bed. I get up. I go back to bed. And it's like, and if you heard the Family Affair theme one more time. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Brian Keith. Yeah.
Yes.
What a guy.
I get it. Yeah.
But today I thought we'd talk about your ordeal.
Let's just talk about my big dysfunction that happened. Yeah.
Amy's gone
through
an ordeal.
Okay. Here's the deal. So I had cellulitis before. My cat scratched me. And I didn't realize that what it was at first, but then I kind of went, I think it's from the cat scratch. So I had to be in the hospital for that. That was a couple months ago. And then like about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whenever that was, I was getting in bed and the cat like was sitting there and he saw me getting, he didn't think like, oh, that's my person. He saw movement and he scratched me. And I thought I should get up and wash this off because I don't want to get cellulitis again. But I didn't, against my better judgment. Got up, realized I got this red mark and I know it's cellulitis. I know that's what it is. So we went to the hospital, the emergency room. They gave me a couple of different kinds of meds, and they sent me home and they said, but we're probably going to have you come back. I mean, you're probably going to end up back here. They took my blood. Then when they called the next day, I mean, it was like 4 a.m. when they called, and he said, there's something in your blood. We don't know if it's cross contamination, but we want to make sure it's not E. coli or something like that. So I was like, okay, got to go back to the hospital. So I went back to the hospital. That time, the next time, then they admitted me. So I'm in the hospital, and they had me. So I'm on this floor, and I didn't have a roommate at first, and then like the next day, this lady came in. She's my roommate, and she says, because I'm like, I just don't want to engage. I'm in the hospital. I'm sick. I want to get better. I don't want to talk to people, whatever it is. So, but she pushed back the curtain and she said, I respect your privacy. I just want to let you know, here, this is my name, and I'm here for to detox from alcohol. And I went, well, that's an interesting thing that she's telling me. And I went, well, I guess that's a good thing to have to do sometimes. And I was like, why is she telling me that? And then I realized, like, I'm on a detox unit because they need to keep their eye on me because because this infection thing.
Right.
And, but so she thinks I'm there to detox. And I'm like, I'm here for cellulitis. I'm not detox. So it was just really weird. And then as time went by, I'm talking to her. I mean, this is an interesting thing, but I'm talking to her a little bit, and she said, oh, she called the nurse and she wanted to get her phone and her charger. And I was like, and she needed an iPhone charger, and I'm an Android person, so I didn't have an iPhone charger. But I said, oh, I have a charger. You can use my charger. She goes, you have a charger? And I was like, yeah, and my phone and everything. And I realized, like, the people that are there for detox can have nothing.
Oh,
They can't have anything because they're detoxing, and so they want to make sure there's no contraband, there's no way for them to call somebody and say bring me something, any of that kind of stuff. So they can't have anything when they're there to detox. So I felt really bad. And then at one point she said, oh, my hair is so greasy, and I had some dry shampoo, so I said, do you want to use my dry shampoo? It's just spray.
right.
And I let her use it, and she didn't give it back. She just had it over on her side. I knew she would give it back eventually. And the nurse came in and they were like, where'd you get that? And I was like, that's mine. And they go, that's unsanitary. And I was like, it's brand new. So I hadn't even used it
Yeah.
before. I could have just sent it home with her, but I felt so bad. And I was like, anyway, so then she got released and they brought in another girl that was there for alcohol detox. And and she, and they were just not letting her have anything. And I felt really bad for her, and we talked a little bit because I just felt bad for her. That she was like she wanted some flowers. She sent herself some flowers, and they wouldn't let her have it because it was a glass container, and so she was like, pissed off. It was just kind of crazy to be on the detox ward when I wasn't there to detox. It was very strange. So anyway, so I get out, and they send me home with these two meds, and they said, don't use that one anymore, but take this one. And I said, the blue one that I take 3 times a day, I should take that one and not the other one. And they said, yes. But I wasn't very clear about it. So I'm taking this med and suddenly I get a rash. And I was like, well, okay, I don't have anaphylactic shock because I can breathe and I'm not swelling up anywhere else. I just have a rash. Looked it up. And I was like, okay, this is a rash from the antibiotic. And pretty soon it started to spread. So it's on my arm at first, and then it spread, and then it was everywhere, Buck. It was everywhere. And it was itchy, and it was horrible. And at one point, it was like my whole body itched. I just like curled up in a ball and kind of
Yeah.
shook because everything itched. It was terrible. So, and then I was like, I don't think and you know what made me go was it wasn't on my face. It started to go up my
Yeah.
neck. And I went, I'm not getting this on my face. I don't want this on my
Yeah.
face. So we were like, okay, I have to go back. So went back, took the meds that I was taking, showed them what I was taking, whatever. And they said, this isn't what you're supposed to take. Apparently, it was the other med that I was supposed to be taking and
Oh,
not that one. So the one I was taking was like something they give you when a cat bites you because cat bites are very
Yeah.
bad. So, but the other one was the antibiotic. So, anyway, so they put me in, they took me off of that, and they were treating they didn't know what was going on because they took my blood, and even though I hadn't been on the antibiotic for as long as I was supposed to, the infection was gone, and they were like, they weren't sure. They still kept me on antibiotics, and then that it had this huge rash. They took me off of the one that was giving me the rash, which is good, and but they wouldn't let me go because they were like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know why why don't you still have an infection? Because that was what the problem was, and here's the other thing that was really weird, was the rash was everywhere except where I'd had the cellulitis.
Oh.
There's that one little strip where I had the cellulitis that had no rash on it, and they couldn't figure that out either. So actually, the one doctor, when I left, they got me permission to write me up in a medical journal because that was
Oh.
so weird and interesting, So, but and of course, all of the interns had to parade in and come and see this horrible rash, and they said it was really rare. And so there was an the they have all kinds of doctors they throw at you. So the one doctor was the allergist doctor, and she was like, "You're going to have to go downtown and have this massive test for all these different allergies because you have allergy problems." And I was like, going, I'm 62 years old. I'm not doing that. But I didn't say anything. But the infectious disease doctor came, or not, it was, no, he was, there was, the dermatologist came and
Yeah.
said, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to go away. It'll be gone. And maybe, maybe it might take a month to be totally gone, but it'll go away.
Yeah.
So he was like, this allergist was an alarmist. And then
Right.
the dermatologist was like, no big deal. And the infectious disease doctor was like the one who was like, I don't want you to go home until I know for sure that you don't have that infection anymore. So, so she was not letting me out. Finally, she let me out. And it was just crazy. And so that was my dysfunction, was just in and out of the hospital and hospitals. And you don't sleep, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like you're supposed to get rest. So the one night I was finally like really asleep, and they gave you a little eye mask, and I had little ear plugs, and I was like, oh, good, this is good sleep. And all of a sudden I'm like, somebody's patting me on my arm, and I was like, oh, Dana sleeps on the other side. What's he doing? What? I was like, because I was asleep, and I was like, oh, they woke me up for vitals because I had to have vitals every four
Yeah.
hours. So, and then no sleep after that. So it's just like there's no dignity in the hospital because, and I usually, the last few times I've been in the hospital, I've been like, I'm not wearing gowns. I hate them.
Yeah.
They're ugly. They're uncomfortable. I'm going to wear just a nightgown thing that I brought. Like it's, and you can access everything. But this time, because it was all over my back, my whole back was just red, just one big red slab. And they needed to be able to get to my back. And so they were like, no, you have to wear the gowns. So I was pissed off about that as
Yeah.
well. I
You
hate
don't
them so
sleep
much.
because it's cold, right?
Yes.
The
It's
hospitals are all
cold.
to fight,
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
viruses and stuff like that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Uh, they they usually leave the door open so you can hear
Yeah.
them coming and going all night.
Absolutely.
Do
All the
all those
noise.
stupid things, and then
Yep.
they say, I mean, to get your vitals, you could do them in the morning. You're not dying. You're not there for a heart attack.
Yeah.
You're not there for, it's like you can do this in the morning. And,
Right. Let
you
me
know,
sleep.
they wake you up and then they tell you to get rest. I mean, it's just insane.
Right.
When I was in the Cook County, the worst
Yeah.
spot
Oh,
in the
that's a
world,
horrible place.
for my frostbite, they would
Yeah.
actually like forget to give me meals. That's
Yeah.
how bad they were.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
got plenty of rest because they just kind of forgot about me, and it was okay. It was during Christmas, and I just would sleep and watch Christmas movies because my hands just had to heal a little bit better, and they had
Yeah. Yeah.
to just keep rebandaging them, cleaning my fingers, and then rebandaging them. But
Right.
I did not know that I thought I was in the burn ward.
Yeah.
I had a burn doctor, but they had put me in the homeless ward.
Oh, nice.
So they kept asking me how long I'd been homeless. I
You're
was
like,
like,
I'm not
wow.
homeless.
I was like, I can't
Yeah.
shave because my hands are, so I'm not shaving, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's really hard to clean myself. So, this just happened. So I'm just learning how to do all of this. But if one more person asked me if I was homeless or how long I'd been homeless or whatever like that, then I realized that everybody around me. I looked around.
They were.
I walked. I was like, oh my god, they're all homeless. I was like, how did I get here? And so the doctor finally came in, and I said, how did I get? I thought I was in the burn unit. He goes, no, the burn unit's full.
Oh,
He said, everybody got it. Like everybody got that flash freeze. He goes, all the hospital burn wards are full.
we're full because everybody
All
got
over Chicago.
frostbite.
Because of that one day of flash freezing. He said,
Yep. It was
temperature dropped
horrible.
40 degrees, the wind picked up, and everybody got frostbite. All these people who had never had frostbite before.
Right.
People are always like, how'd you get frostbite? I mean, you got to be pretty stupid to get frostbite. And I was
No,
it just happened. I didn't know, and
it just happened. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a thing called flash freeze, which is a big thing in Chicago.
Yeah.
Temperature just drops, and the wind comes off the lake, and it just, there's
It's
a reason
really cold.
you used to see horizontal ice
Yeah.
just going like that across the buildings, just in a horizontal, So
That was horrible.
yeah,
That was a horrible thing. Yeah.
yeah. But hospitals are very uninviting,
Yeah.
very, that's why I always tried to avoid them. But then when I got like cellulitis and stuff like that, I had to go back, you
Right.
me back. And it was just like to get it out of you, to get the stuff out of you is just so gross when it actually does open up and lets it out. It was just, and it's so painful. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's infections. And then with me, it was MRSA and the
Yeah.
infection, and it got, because I couldn't get up, and I didn't really feel like getting up and walking around very much, so I laid in bed a lot, and that's kind
Yeah.
of where it started. So I don't know, but I
Oh,
felt
it's
really
terrible.
bad for you because you were just in and out of the hospital, in and out of the hospital when you
I
broke
know. It was terrible.
the rash.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, and the second time, I just had one room. And the other thing is, so Lutheran General has this, like, it's a big open. The side of it is big and open, and like, if you're on that side, you have this fabulous view. You can see the city. It's fabulous. So when I was on the detox unit, I had a bed by the door, so I didn't get to have the window, and so I didn't get to have that nice view. So when they took me to the sixth floor, because they actually one of the meds I was on, I guess, could impact on your heart, so I had to wear this heart EKG thing the whole time, which is also like, how can you sleep with this like machine on your chest? But anyway, so I had to be on that floor, and they were like, "Oh, but you're going to get the window." So I got a nice window, and my view was the wall of the hospital.
Yeah.
It was like a little, so that's all I could see. So I was like, well, at least I get the sunlight
Yeah.
coming in. And it wasn't by the door. You're a little farther away from the noise and the people coming in and out.
Yeah.
So, but my roommate that time was this, she was, I know she's 83 because they kept saying that she was 83, but she was there because she had congestive heart failure and she was going to get a pacemaker. And she didn't talk to me, but she talked in her sleep and she talked to herself a lot. And then every once in a while, she would kind of say something, but mostly like, "I'm scared of getting this pacemaker." And I was like, "That's nothing. You'll be just fine. I know people who've had pacemakers. It's not a big deal. It's just a thing." And like the worst thing is you can't go through the airport security because you'll set off the alarms. And I was like, "You're 83. You're not going to be in an airport anytime soon."
Yeah.
So
No.
I didn't say that to her, of course, but
Nice.
yeah, and the other thing is just the food is not horrible there. I mean, they do an okay job but it's not. It's limited. You only have so many things, and my appetite wasn't very good, and I just didn't want to eat anything, and or just eat like have ice cream and fruit.
Yeah.
just it's just not conducive to like a good. I don't know. You're there to heal, and yet the food is bad. You don't get to
Yeah.
sleep. There's disruptions all the time. It was just bad. Plus, the other thing was that they had me on steroids. So, and my medication for MS is all of those MS meds. You can't have steroids and be on those meds because you can get something called PML, which is progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, which means that you just demyelinate, like your myelin just disappears if you get this thing.
Okay.
So basically, you either die or you become severely disabled. So I kept saying, they would go, okay, and we have your Tecfidera, which is unusual because usually they don't because it's so expensive. But they did, and they were going to give me the Tecfidera, and I was like, I can't have both. You can't give me steroids and the Tecfidera at the same time. That should be something that I would think like a good pharmacist would say, wait a minute, these are not compatible,
Right.
or whatever, but they didn't. So I was off my MS meds for like 2 weeks, which I think I could kind of tell. I just feel like I was slower and had my balances worse. And so, so in addition to everything else, I also wasn't getting treated for the MS during that time. So hopefully, well, now I'm back on them. So hopefully it'll be fine. And my stomach was just terrible and dreadful. I was having reflux like constantly, and you know, like it's you can't lay down because like immediately you have heartburn.
Yeah.
It's just bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
So consequently, my cat no longer has claws.
Oh.
So he had to go get declawed, which is a little bit dysfunctional. I know, like in some places they don't let you do it, and a lot of people don't like to. And I know that it's cuts off their first knuckle. I understand all that, but we found a place that did it with lasers. So even though I don't think it's no less intrusive, but I think that the healing process for the cats is a lot shorter than when they have to use just surgery,
Yeah.
like scalpel, whatever. So, and I don't think he's noticed. And he's not an outside cat. He only goes outside when we're with him. So he doesn't need those claws to fight off birds or catch things or whatever.
Right.
So, and now he can't claw his way up the fence. If he does go outside when
Yeah.
we're out there, because, he can go out there when we're out there. We'll watch him. So I know. And, I felt bad about it. And I thought there might be people who would say, like, that's cruel. You shouldn't do that. But everybody said, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And my friend, Suzanne
Yeah.
from high school. So Susie's like a really big animal advocate. She has like an animal shelter
Oh.
that she runs and all that kind of stuff. So I said, well, if Susie says it's okay, then I think it's
Yeah.
okay. And Susie said, do what you need to do. It's okay. The cat will be fine.
Yeah.
So I was like, blessings from Suzanne. I'm good. The cat is fine. And he really, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's noticed it. I know he's
He doesn't
probably
lick
done with
his
the
paw a lot.
painkillers.
He's not
No,
licking
he's
his
not.
paw.
He didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't lick his paws. He didn't like. He limped a little bit at first, like the first couple of days,
Yeah.
but now it's like he doesn't even notice. He doesn't know anything happened. So
Well,
whether or not it's cruel, he is fine. So, and I'm happy because he can't scratch me ever again. Not with those
yeah.
paws.
I just wonder when he has those moments of madcap wildness where he'll
Yeah.
like, run on the back of the couch and then jump from something to something and stuff. I just
Yeah.
waiting. It's like you're
He
waiting
will still
for
do
him
that.
to realize that he has nothing to hang on to and he just falls
Yeah.
off the,
He might eventually.
it's like,
Yeah.
why did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It could, but you know what? He's been okay. He still can jump. My sister's cat had to have all of its teeth removed because she had some kind of gum disease or something. So they had all of her teeth removed. And Beth was like, "What's she gonna eat? How's she gonna eat?" And the cat, the vet was like, "She'll eat just fine." And she has. She's just totally fine, and she
Yeah,
hasn't noticed, and it's no big deal. And cats do just fine
yeah,
without claws and teeth. You know, and
yeah.
he still has his teeth, so he's fine.
Yeah,
You know.
Twister, my cat, eventually lost pretty much all of his teeth, but he just
Yeah.
ate the same. I mean, it didn't
Yeah.
change his appetite or anything. I gave him more real chicken,
Yeah.
because here you can
Yeah.
get like a rotisserie. So you get like the rotisserie, and you don't eat all the chicken. So I would just cube
Right.
it up for him, and he would, or tear it apart, shred it, and he would
Yeah.
just eat it. So
Yeah.
it didn't seem to bother him at all.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I
Well,
told you, we adopted a cat who had been declawed. The,
yeah.
I didn't know it had been declawed, and it's just one of those cats that showed up when we lived out in the country where people
Yeah.
dump their cats.
Yeah.
It's a dumping ground for cats, and he had stuff in his butt area, like in the fur. He had like
Yeah.
insulation from sleeping under trailers or a house or whatever like that. So he would always wait for the others to finish, the other cats to finish before he would catch
Yeah.
up, and then he would eat. And I was like, I guess he's bullied a lot. And I was like, and he smelled really bad. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give you a bath. Let's see if you have claws. Let's see how you do. And he pawed
He
at,
tried to bat at you. Yeah.
pawed at me. And I realized, and I looked, and I was
He
like,
doesn't have
I have
claws.
no claws. He has no claws. Somebody abandoned a cat
That's
that has no
terrible.
claws. No
That's
way to
mean.
defend itself.
Yeah.
So after that, we kept him because he needed to be
Yeah.
protected, and I made him kind of an indoor outdoor cat, but mostly indoors. He stayed indoors, and he
Yeah.
had bad teeth, so he would drool a lot. So I just started putting old bedspreads. Don't throw away your old bedspread. Old
Because
bedspread
there's a
over
purpose for them.
the new
Yeah.
bedspread, and
Yeah.
over furniture so that it wouldn't, because he had like black goo or I don't know what it was coming from his mouth. So it was fine. It was fine. I mean, when he died, I threw away the old bedspreads because they were
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's not such a bad thing, and I felt like he deserved to have, like, he had 3 good years with us.
Yeah.
Solid
Yeah.
where he was
So it
taken.
was nice. His senior years were somewhere pleasant,
Yeah, and he
and
was
he got
a
treated nice.
companion
That's
for
very
us.
nice.
Matilda, the Twister, did not like, so they kind of
Yeah.
chummed up and they would nap together, which made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hospitals, I had the best hospital ever was Columbia Presbyterian. So I had bacterial pneumonia.
Oh, bummer.
I know it's really bad. So
Yeah.
I sort of limped, like hunched over to the doctor's office, which was near me. It was like 6 blocks away in New York. And my doctor finally came in and he said, "Oh, we'll just give him some antibiotics and he can go home." And I had to curl up because my back hurts so bad. So I curled up
Yeah.
on the examining table, and
Right.
the nurse said, "Oh no, he's got to go to the hospital." He goes, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, you need to get an ambulance down here and you need to take him to the hospital." My doctor's like, "I don't really see him." He goes, he will die. He will die."
That'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, my doctor's like, "Oh, okay." So I go up to Columbia Presbyterian. You have to be quarantined. So I got my own room
Yeah.
with
Oh, that's nice.
a window seat
Yay.
to
Yeah.
the
Hudson.
to the
Right.
to the East River.
East
So I
River.
got to
Yeah.
watch tugboats go up and down.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like the best food.
About my immune system. Well, I'm sure that's that has got to be the reason why I was so susceptible to that cellulitis, was because it's an immune. I'm on Tecfidera, which is the generic is dimethyl fumarate. That's what I'm on. But it's an immunosuppressor. So it because MS is an autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks itself. So you have to suppress your immune system so that it doesn't think that your myelin is something to eat. So and I'm not exactly sure what it actually does. Because some of them. The last stuff I was on, the Tysabri, like made because your white blood cells are sticky, so they stick to viruses and they take viruses and stuff out of your system. That's why they're sticky. So at MS, your white blood cells are too sticky. They stick to the veins and they break through the blood brain barrier.
Oh,
So that's what happens. Like that's why you get drunk, because the alcohol breaks through your blood brain barrier and makes you loopy. So in this case, your white blood cells break through your into your brain. I mean, there you go other places too, but there's nothing to attack other places.
right.
But they think the myelin is something to attack. So instead of so the myelin is the fatty sheath around your neurons that protect it. They're like insulation around a wire. So the MS is the white blood cells attack the myelin and they make scarring. They don't destroy it completely, they just scar it up. So then where the scarring is, then the impulses can't go through as fast. So in some of the meds, they make the white blood cells, like they put little raincoats or condoms on your white blood cells and keep it from being too sticky. But that also means that you are more susceptible to other kinds of infections. So I'm out of the hospital and we're back, and hopefully we'll be back again much sooner than this last time. And we'll have more dysfunctions to discuss.
We have a lot of material from just the last few weeks, so we'll be going through
Absolutely.
more of them. So if you've had
So,
hospitalization problems and you have a comment, please give us a comment on the YouTube channel,
yeah,
and we'll see you
absolutely.
next week. Bye.
Okay, bye, guys.